Today, I will discuss that why certain people who are suffering from psychological disorders keep on changing their psychiatrist and psychologist on regular basis and are never satisfied with any one of them.
Welcome to Stress Free Life. SFL is a HRD and mental health services firm.
People suffering from psychological disorder got three options with them. One is medication, the other is psychotherapy, and the third is a combination of medication and psychotherapy. So first I will discuss medication, though it's the subject of psychiatrists and they can guide their patient in a more better manner, but there are certain scientific facts which I would like to share with you. People usually confuse their mental disorder with physical ailments. In physical ailments, the phenomena is relatively simple. If a person is suffering from a specific ailment, then the doctor would have few choices available with him, and according to these choices, he would start treatment of that patient. Like if a person is suffering from some sort of infection, then the doctor know that which antibiotics are available for that specific infection. He would recommend an antibiotic, and the person would be cured with that antibiotic. Now, the next person or any person from that specific community, when he would visit the doctor would recommend that specific antibiotic to them, and they would be treated with that antibiotic. But in psychological problems, the phenomena is very much complex because of the complexity of human psychology. Despite so much development and advancement in this field, there are still many areas which are beyond the understanding of our scientific development. And one medication may work for one person, but may not be effective in the same indications for another person. Like if a person comes to a doctor presenting six symptoms of a specific disorder, then the doctor would recommend a medication to that person, and the person may start feeling better with that medication. Then the next person would come to the same doctor with the same symptoms. He would recommend the same medication to that person, and that person may start experiencing lots and lots of side effects with that medication, and a third person may not have any significant improvement in his condition, and a fourth person may complain that his symptoms has aggravated with the usage of that specific medication. So at times finding the right medication according to the chemistry of your brain may require some time. So in that case, you shouldn't be repeatedly changing your doctors. Rather, you should be repeatedly visiting the same doctor again and again until he finds a medication which would be a suitable fit for you. And again, there is another scientific fact which you must keep in consideration. Though again, I must say that it's the topic of psychiatrists and they can guide you in a more better manner. But some of the medication needs some time to give you some observable, sustainable results. At times, you may need to take that medication for weeks to feel the benefit of that medication. So, whenever a doctor recommends to you a medication, along with the suggestion that you need to wait for this much time to see some improvements in your condition, then you should wait for that much time. If still the medication is not working after that much time, then you should revisit the same doctor and discuss your condition with him so he would find a more suitable drug for you. Now let's discuss that why some people keep on changing their psychotherapist. Many people who got good education of psychotherapy process, they understand that psychotherapy is a not short-term solution to their problems, but still there are certain confusions and misconceptions whenever a person would visit a psychotherapist. Most often they assume that in the first session they would have very significant improvement in their condition. So they must keep in mind that it can only rarely can happen because the shortest possible psychotherapy course require at least 3 sessions. Though the psychotherapist would try to improve your condition with each session, but still the process is very slow because bringing about fundamental changes in your habitual thinking style as well as in your behavior is a slow process. But yes, you can expect improvements with each session, and that's how the therapy sessions will go on. Another important point which I would like to discuss with you is that whenever you enter into psychotherapy, you must be openly discussing all your problems with the psychologist because it is always a confidential process. Never hide any aspects of your life from him. If you are feeling embarrassed about certain things, in your life, there might have been certain traumas in your life, certain mishaps in your lives, and there might have been certain things in the past which you have been doing, and you are not feeling comfortable to discuss those things with your psychotherapist, then the psychotherapy process cannot be very much helpful for you. And consider that psychotherapy session an opportunity where you can discuss all those things which you might have never discussed with anyone in your life. Only then the psychotherapy session can be highly satisfying for you and your psychotherapist. And similarly, I must mention here that at times the psychotherapist would need to go for certain tests, psychometric tests, which can be projective or non-projective tests. While you are answering to those questions, obviously there are no right and wrong answer to those questions, but when you are answering those questions, you should be 100% honest in your answers. You should truthfully answer all the queries. So the results of the test would give you as well as psychotherapist a more better insight into the inner workings of your mind. Though we claim, or many people claim, that we understand ourselves, but human understanding of ourself, our conscious understanding of ourself and our life, is only a tip of the iceberg. There is a huge area which about our personality and our behavior which is not fully consciously we are aware of. So psychometric tests help the psychotherapist to understand your unconscious motives, and more than the psychotherapist, it would help you to understand yourself in a more better and deeper manner. Your introspection would improve, and your coping strategies to improve your condition would be in a more better manner aligned to your with your unconscious. So whenever afterwards, when the psychotherapist would design some goals for the psychotherapy, he may give you certain tasks to carry out. If these tasks are difficult for you to carry out, you should discuss that these tasks wouldn't be possible for you. Similarly, if in the previous session he had recommended certain tasks to you and you failed to carry out those tasks, again, it's rather than giving a false positive picture, it's better that you should discuss that you failed to do those tasks, because that's not your failure, that's the failure of the psychotherapist. He wasn't able to understand your weaknesses and strengths properly. So when you give him an accurate, right, truthful report, if you have failed in certain areas to carry out certain tasks, then he would adjust the psychotherapy goals according to your understanding, to your weaknesses, keeping in view your weaknesses and your strengths. And whenever you disagree with your psychotherapist, you should disagree, openly discuss. If there is a need to indulge in arguments and counter arguments with your psychotherapist, don't hesitate. And then the psychotherapy goals can be adjusted on factual grounds. So before you decide to change your psychotherapist, you should ask yourself, are you helping your psychotherapist to help you? Yes, in certain cases, if you think that there are certain personality differences, compatibility issues, and you think that a psychotherapist failed to develop rapport with you, and you don't feel like opening up about your problems with that psychotherapist, then in that situation, it's okay that you shouldn't be wasting your time and money, and you should change your psychotherapist. But for certain people, I would add an important point that there are certain people who are very intelligent, competent people. They have seen lots of ups and downs in their life, and their understanding of the life and their intellectual depth is very good. So when they go for psychotherapy, usually it happens that in the first session they start doubting the capabilities of the psychotherapist. So in that case, we must keep in mind that psychotherapist may lack that experience about the different areas of life, but they are the expert of their field. They have knowledge and expertise of mental disorders. They got at hand a battery of tests which can help them to diagnose certain mental disorders, and then they know how to help their client and which therapy would be more appropriate according to the condition of the client. So, being skeptical from the very beginning about the capabilities of your psychotherapist can render the psychotherapy process ineffective.
Thank you for watching. SFL is a human development and mental health services firm. For these services, you can call on the mentioned numbers.